All right, guys, welcome back. This is a lower body flexibility routine. Let's get into it. We're gonna start with the hamstring. So get a nice position that's about shoulder width apart. Keep the back flat at first, and you're gonna stick your pelvis out behind you till you feel a huge stretch, hopefully in your hamstrings, but you might feel it in your calves or even your lower back, but that's fine. You're gonna maintain this flat back as you bend one knee, sink that side of the hip down, and keep the other leg perfectly straight. And then you're gonna smoothly switch to the other side. And we're gonna do this for 30 reps. Here we go. Switch and switch. 2, 3, breathing deeply. 4, 5. If you wanna feel more tingles, lean forward. 7 and 8, 9. You almost wanna chase those tingles a little bit. That's your nervous system just stretching. 12. And 15. We're halfway through. Keep going. Keep that back flat. If your back starts to get sore, you might need to take a rest, but just keep it going. 18 and 19. 20 and 22. 24, 25, keep that going. 29 and 30, get the other leg and stand all the way up. Go ahead and shake those legs out. Even just after that, you should feel extremely warm. Go ahead and shake those legs out. Now get a nice comfortable stance. I like about shoulder width apart. And we're gonna do just a body weight squat, but we're gonna do it a little bit more mobility focused. So hands out in front of you for a counterbalance. You're just gonna squat down, and when you can't go any further down, lean forward as you go down. And if you need to lift your heels up, that's fine, but you're going as deep as possible. And then the goal is just to lift yourself back up, and we're gonna do 10 of these nice and slow. Sinking all the way down as far as you can, and that's 2. Push the knees out as you go down. Feel that little stretch. And 3. Keep that going. And 4. Breathing deeply. 5. We're halfway through. Keep feeling that stretch. You should sink a little deeper now every rep. And 7. 8. Last 2 reps. And 9, and 10. Okay. All right, now we're gonna move on to the upper body just a little bit, just to get warm up here. Go ahead and do a figure 8 with your shoulders, just like so. Going, scooping up and scooping up. Keep that going. This is a lower body routine, but your back does get involved. So we want the back to also be warm. Go ahead and reach both hands up. These are called cherry pickers. Reach one hand up, reach to the side body and switch. Good, and a little faster. Here we go. Switch, 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 and 5, and 4, 3, and 2, and 1, and come on down to the floor. Sit all the way down, and we're gonna start with our butterfly stretch. So bring your feet together, grab whatever you can, and your goal is to, with your glutes, squeeze the knees open and pull yourself forward. If you're advanced, the feet will come very close and you'll be able to lean pretty far forward. But if you're more of a beginner, it might look something like this. Find your stretch and hold it for 30 seconds. So here we go, pull it in. And 30 seconds starting now, breathing deeply. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, if you can. You can also use your elbows to push your knees open, if you're able to deepen that stretch. With every exhale, I want you to try and sink a little bit deeper. and come on out of that stretch. Go ahead and shake those legs out. Switching to the hamstrings, one leg at a time, pick a side, and feeling that stretch, holding 30 seconds. Your thigh, you want to keep it activated. The muscle is flexing. And the reason why you want it flexed is to keep that knee perfectly straight. And we're gonna fluidly switch to the other side. Here we go, switching over. Grab whatever you can, feel that stretch. Now, just to encourage you, if you don't quite look like this yet, that's totally fine. You might be grabbing your knee, your calf, your ankle, or your foot like me, but grab whatever you can and just hold it, feel that stretch. Breathing deeply. The breath helps you relax, and you wanna relax as much as possible so that you can sink into that stretch. And going back to our butterfly stretch, bring those feet together, pull it in, open those knees. You might notice you'll go a little bit deeper this time. Now, instead of just holding this stretch, what we're gonna do is flutter our knees a little bit. 30 seconds starting now. This little tiny movement, it might be slow for you like this, or it might be quite fast. It doesn't matter. You just want to get some sort of movement in there while those thighs are stretching. Breathing deeply. All right, now press your knees open, sink forward, 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come on out of that stretch. Go ahead and shake out those legs again. And now we're gonna go for our hamstring stretch, and we're gonna make it a little bit more active and dynamic too. So go back to that first leg that you did. Now, instead of just holding the stretch, we're gonna bounce a little bit. Please avoid pain, just a little bounce into it. So here we go, bounce, bounce. You're gonna tap and tap whatever you can. If that's your toes, if that's your knee, your shin, you're just gonna tap. You're dancing into that stretch a little bit, avoiding pain, feel the intensity. Halfway through. Good, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switching sides. Make sure that knee is bent now to relax it. Straighten the other one. Same thing on the other side. Dancing into that stretch. Bouncing a little bit. Breathing deeply. You might notice with each bounce you go slightly deeper. Make sure the knee stays as straight as possible, even if you're all the way up here as you do it. Wherever you're at, you're there for a reason, and it's okay. You will improve. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come on out of that stretch. Now go ahead and shake those legs. Now we're gonna move on to our hip flexors. And for this one, you might need a pad on the floor or a blanket or even a jacket, something to give your knee a little bit of a rest. I promise the more you do it, the more comfortable it becomes. And it's kind of funny that that happens, but having your knee on the hard ground hurts a lot less over time. So you're going to a lunge position just like this. Instead of pushing your hips forward, you're gonna think about your hips sinking down toward the ground. You have the option for easy, hands on the floor, or harder, hands on your knees. Holding for 30 seconds, breathing deeply, sinking those hips down. Make sure your hips aren't opening to the side. You want them pointed forward, just like so. And remember, if your stretch doesn't look like mine, that's totally fine. Over time, it'll look a little bit deeper and deeper and deeper. All right, and immediately come out of that stretch, and we're gonna switch directly to the other side. The other hip is facing forward. Point those hips forward, sink them down toward the ground just like so. Feel the huge stretch in that hip flexor on the opposite side, holding for 30 seconds. Remember, you have the option for easier, hands on the ground, harder, hands on the knee. Sinking those hips down, breathing deeply. With every exhale, you almost want to picture your heart rate slowing and your muscles relaxing as you sink into the stretch. I want to remind you, avoid pain. You want it to be intense, but not painful. Come on out of that stretch, and we're going to go directly back to that first side. So here we go. Foot planted, hips sinking down toward the floor, breathing deeply. If you had your hands on the floor at first, maybe try and bring them up to your knee. If you had your hands on your knee, maybe try reaching up with this stretch. 30 seconds, breathing deeply. If you need to transition hands back to knees or floor, please do so. You want to hold for the full 30 seconds to get the full effect of the stretch. And immediately switching to the other leg. However is comfortable for you to do that, go ahead and do that. Here we go. Hips sinking down toward the ground. Again, if your hands were on the floor, bring them up to your knee. And if your hands were on your knee, bring them up to the sky, holding and breathing deeply. 30 seconds. Focusing on your breath, not the muscles. It should feel intense. If you need to bring your hands down, please do so if you need to. And come on out of that stretch. Stand up for a second. Ooh. You might even feel a little bit of a burn. That's totally normal. Go ahead and march in place. Just let those feet relax. Those legs, they should feel extremely loose already, but we're not done yet. Next is going to be our modified pigeon. So, back down to the ground. You're gonna go to a 90-90 position, which is your knee at 90 degrees and your other knee at 90 degrees behind you. Now, with the leg that's in front of you, place your hands, one on your ankle, one on your knee, and we're gonna do our modified pigeon good morning. It's modified because the back leg is not straight, and it's a good morning because we're gonna go down and back up for 10 reps. Assist if you need with your hands. Here we go. Chest down toward the leg and lift up. If you can't go that deep, that's totally fine. And 2. And 3. And 4. If you want to challenge, you can reach up. And 5. 6. Breathing deeply. And 7. And 8. And 9. Last one. Pause at the bottom. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift up, and we're gonna switch directly to the other side. Again, 90-90 position. One hand on the ankle, one hand on the knee. Right into it, 10 reps. Here we go. And lift. 1. And 2. 3. If you want to challenge yourself, you can reach your hands up above you if you like. And 4. I'm going to keep my hands down. 5. And 6. You should be feeling this in your glute. And 7. And 8. Last 2. 9. Holding at the bottom. Here we go. 10. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lifting up, switching back over to that first side. Now we're gonna hold it for 30 seconds. Here we go. Sink the chest down, 30 seconds, breathing deeply. You can use your hands on your leg or the floor to assist you, or put your hands behind your back, whatever feels best for you. You should be feeling this in the glute, otherwise known as your butt. This is called an external rotator. And switching sides, holding again 30 seconds, breathing deeply. Again, hands can go on your legs or the floor, or if you want, you can place your hands behind your back, whatever feels best for you. With every exhale, you should be sinking a little bit deeper into it. You want to feel as relaxed as possible. Come out of that stretch. Go ahead and bring your feet in front of you. Shake them out just like so. There we go. Go back to that butterfly-like stretch, but lean back this time. Open and close your legs a little bit. Just get some movement back in those legs. And now legs in front of you, bend and straighten the knees. And now we're gonna move on to an active portion of our stretch workout here. All right, when you're ready, come to a standing position. All right, your feet are gonna be about hip width apart, so not shoulder width. They're gonna be a little bit more narrow, almost like there's about a fist and a half in between both your ankles here. And what you're gonna do is actually bend one knee and slide it back so your toes are on the ground. This foot is just for balance, so ignore it besides keeping your balance. This leg, the knee is gonna stay straight. If your leg tends to bend backwards, don't do that. Bend it a little bit if that's the case. But here we go. Back is gonna stay perfectly flat. Stick the hips out behind you. Feel a stretch down that leg. And now drive the heel into the ground to lift up. Remember, this leg is not helping. That's 1. We're gonna do 10 of these. Good. And lift. That's 2. And 3. Hinging. And 4. And 5. 6. 4 more. 7. And 8, last 2, 9, and 10. Switching sides again, about a fist and a half in between. And you're gonna go on your toe, slide it back. Only use the leg for balance. Back stays flat. Hinge the hips behind you. Feel that stretch and lift by driving the heel into the ground. This one's just for balance and hinge. That's number 2. And 3. And 4. And 5. 6. 7. 8. And 9. Last rep, make it count. And 10, lift up. Go ahead and march in place. There we go. All right, we're gonna finish out with some hip circles. Starting with the right leg, you're gonna need to balance on your left leg. So here we go. Scoop in, up and around, and that's 1. 2, you might need to balance against a wall. 3. 4. 5, reverse directions, and 1. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Other leg, scooping in and around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Switching directions. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Go ahead and shake out those legs, and you are good to go with that. If you want to subscribe to my newsletter, it's called The Stretch. It's down below. Like and subscribe if you want more of these. Stay flexy.